Hey y'all, I'm Allison Asarch from Nashville, Tennessee.
Hey, I'm Sean Fraser from the Ritzy Kids.
Hunters, this is Johnny from Rail Motor.
Hey, it's Shane from Blind Season.
Hey, it's Rob Stanier, and you can check out my music on all the streaming platforms.
Check out my latest music on all the streaming sites.
Check out my debut album on all streaming platforms.
Check out our new debut album.
Check us out on Spotify and Apple Music. And you're listening to our friends, Braggy and Curly.
And my favorite bands from Australia.
My two favourite podcasters,
Braggy and Curly.
Braggy and Curly.
On the
Unfiltered and Undiscovered podcast.
And Rossi.
Hey there, everyone. It's Curly here from the Unfiltered and Undiscovered podcast. Welcome to episode 192. And no guest tonight. We've had a really, really good run of guests lately, and we just love to thank them all. But we are taking a bit of a breather from guests this particular week. And we're recording this on a Tuesday night because tomorrow, of course, is the magic of State of Origin for us. Rossi's in the recording studio with any number of bands that he works with. And, of course, I've got my co-host right beside me. We have got Braggy from Adelaide. So how are you, Braggy? We're going to do a mystery song deep dive.
I'm nervous with doing these without Rossi. So we'll see how we go.
I had to laugh last week when we were talking about it, and you said, I was quite amazed that both of you get nervous around these sorts of episodes because you're never quite sure what's going to come out.
No.
And but hopefully tonight. So
it's hard. You know what it's like? It's like when you go and play a gig and people, sing out requests and they just assume you know every song that's ever been written.
Yeah, I do. You guys are experts. You guys are the experts. So I assume you know every little song. So, hey, but before we do that, what's been happening down your neck of the woods?
It's been a pretty quiet week. Really, it's been shitty weather, just raining. Yeah. I've been shitty at the footy tips. Yeah. Just for an update, I don't know if we don't really talk about it on the show, do we? But
we do. So.
You're leading by 3.
Yeah.
133 to Rossi, 130 to me, 129. So it's pretty close. You're catchable, definitely.
Yeah, very much so. And I was amazed because I had a really crappy week, and yet somehow I extended the lead by 1. So hey, I'm on to that. Hey, Braggy, a little bit of news out of Triple J, but I saw today, and this is interesting because you can actually vote in Triple J's hottest 100 of Australian songs. So, we've been...
Oh, I see. Yeah. Because they're getting a bit of flack that there's not enough Australian songs in the hottest 100.
Yeah, and it's going to be interesting because they've put together a short list that has heaps of Aussie standouts for you to choose from with up to 3 songs per artist, but you can vote on any Aussie song from any era up until release date was 19th of January 2025.
Right.
It is going to be really interesting.
From any era. So it's top 100 songs of all time.
Yeah, fundamentally. Up until unless there's been an absolute banger that was released on the 20th of January 2025. And you know what I'm really interested in seeing with this is how many of the modern era songs the last 10 years actually make the list and the sort of percentage.
It depends on how many young people listen to Triple J.
Yeah.
I'm not sure there's that many anymore.
It's going to be really interesting. Yeah.
When Rolling Stone does those things, right? But the way they do it so well. They often come out with the greatest 500 songs of all time or the greatest 500 albums of all time. And I really love those lists they do. You can argue about them.
Yeah.
No one can ever get it right. But the way they do it is they get like 300 people from across all spectrums of the music industry. So for a start, they get people from all age groups.
Yeah.
And they get people from all over the industry. They get artists, producers, journalists, anybody that's in and around the industry they get people from all genres. So from metal to country to hip hop So the 300 is right across everything, ages, and it's pretty cool. I love the way they do that, and they do it every so often, so it changes because some albums people get influenced, and then the new artists come out and they're influenced by an album that we probably just didn't think about. So I love that shit.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting. So Triple J's open to everyone and anyone as long as you register on the ABC Triple J site. And it's I'm going to be very interested when it's released, and how much of the 80s stuff that I love so much is in there, how much, and then obviously how much of the recent stuff is in there. So, hey, do you want me to put you out of your misery?
No, play me the song. Oh, fucking hell. Here we go. Sorry, folks, about the swearing, but
any indication do you think of what if you were to define an era of music of a song that you would feel really or an era where you'd feel really confident, what era would that be, Braggy?
What era I'd feel confident?
Yeah.
Wow. It's probably going to be. It's going to be the 70s or the 80s, I guess.
Okay. Well,
70s or the 80s. I mean, I'll be confident. Well, it's not so much the era; it's the genre that I have to.
All right. Let's see what we've got then, shall we? Let's just play up until the vocals start coming.
It's Boom 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 by John Lee Hooker.
All right.
So that was pretty easy. Whew.
Are you feeling better now?
I feel better now. I mean, that riff, So I'm assuming that's Boom Boom Boom. I mean, there's a number of blues songs it could be. It could be Muddy Waters. But I think it's John Lee Hooker, is it?
I would say it's John Lee Hooker, Boom Boom, yeah. And so what do you know? What
do I know about that song?
Yeah, let's just.
It's got the classic blues riff. There's been a lot of songs written on that riff. The first time I ever heard that song would have been by Tony Joe White. You know him?
Yes.
Coke Salad Annie. And he did a version of it. I'm sure it's been covered by so many people. Probably been covered by other blues guys as well.
Yeah. In fact, this mystery song today was a song that was put forward by a mystery guest. So.
Oh, is it put forward by what's the name? I forgot. We had them on from Brisbane. Oh, I can't remember, Curly. I feel bad now. I apologise.
No, it wasn't. Sorry, it wasn't
young
a
lady
guest that we've had on recently. So, it was so someone that's relatively close with you, Braggy. So,
like one of my mates.
Potentially, yeah. I reckon you might call him a mate.
Okay. So, like Robbie or Maxie or one of those dickheads?
It was actually put forward by your brother. So I reached out to him, and I've always heard the stories of Braggy being inspired by his brother's record collection.
Yeah, so Tony Joe White was the record that I used to play to all my friends, and they were like, "What? This is the 80s."
Yeah.
When everyone's listening, all my other mates are listening to fucking Duran Duran, Cold Chisel. And I'm saying, "Come and listen to this, Tony Joe White."
So, what era is Boom Boom?
Well, it's John Lee Hooker. I reckon he would have wrote that in 50s. Would it be 50s or maybe before? He's pretty old when he was not really discovered, but when the wide audience discovered him. And
yeah.
like the Stones and those guys, and Clapton and those guys discovered those old blues guys. So I'm not sure, Curly. I'm going to guess it was written in maybe the 50s or the 40s. Is that right?
No, the song was released in 62.
62.
Right? So
you
you're
could
not
have been
far
playing
off.
it in the 50s.
Yeah. And it became a Billboard R&B top 20 hit and a bit of a crossover success. So do you know where he was from?
I'm going to say he was from down south of America, somewhere along the Mississippi. Probably he's from
Mississippi born. Yeah.
There you go. Delta Blues Man. It's one of the originals.
Yeah.
They reckon he used to go into the studio, and when the guys were recording him, I forget which producer it was. I remember seeing a little interview with him, and he was saying, the band would be all ready, and I'd have to have the tape rolling because he'd just come in and he'd just start singing.
Yeah.
He says he's pretty sure most of the time he just made the lyrics up on the spot. He said I had to capture it because and if you listen to some of those lyrics, there's just what's the lyrics to that? Boom, 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 gonna shoot you right down, right off your feet, take you home with me. Something like that.
Let's tune in and let's see what we can pick up then, hey?
Boom, 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 boom. How, 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 how. Hey, hey. Come on home, baby.
It's got the Blues Brothers?
Yeah, Blues Brothers.
Come on home. Oh, come on home, baby. I love you. I love you. Come on. Come on, come on. Oh, come on home. Come on. I love you. Oh.
We're getting a real good version of the music, aren't we? There's not a lot of lyrics in this version.
No, that'd be different every time.
But you walk that walk and talk that talk and whisper in my ear, tell me that you love me. I love that talk, that baby talk. When you talk like that, I can't take it like that. How, how. Hey, hey, come on, baby. Walk your walk, talk your talk, talk your talk, baby. Talk. Talk.
That was Boom Boom, the song that I wrote back in the 50s. No, you didn't.
Back in the 50s.
No, you didn't. That's what I did. I wrote Boom Boom.
Yeah, released in 62. So he's written it in the 50s. Yeah. And
so after that, they go into the cafe, and that's where Aretha Franklin is, yeah?
Yeah, the old Blues Brothers. So not the full song that we got, but, there's the bit of the vibe. So walk me through what's happening with the music there, Braggy.
It's just it's a riff in an E, and I don't think it changes much from that. What if I can play it on here, Curly?
Go for it. Let's see what you can do.
That's about it.
Yeah.
Boom, boom, boom. So I said, and then the guy, he plays his solo over the top of it, slows it down, then they pick it back up again. But it's got groove, hasn't it?
Oh, it has, hasn't it?
See, how the Stones and bands like that got their well, pretty much everybody really.
Let me see if I can pull up the lyrics, shall we? And let's just walk through what the lyrics. So, of course, I think we know the first bit. Boom, 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 boom. I'm going to shoot you right down. You mentioned that.
Right off
your feet.
Take you home with me.
Take you home with me.
Take you in my house.
You in my house.
Put you in my room.
Yeah. Boom, 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 boom.
Yeah.
I love to see you walk up and down the floor when you're talking to me, that baby talk. So it's not like he's telling much of a story there, is he?
No.
So we've had some great storytellers on, but that's just an infectious sort of a like a little riff that goes. It's deceptive. It sounds easy, but I'm taking it's not.
Oh no, that's a pretty standard. That's something you learn pretty easy. But to play it like that, I mean, it's one thing to know all the notes. You know that classical music, you can learn a piece, but to play it with the soul and the feeling, and I guess really to play the blues well, you've got to. I'm not going to say you have to be black, but you got to have had a hard life, I reckon, to really put that soul into it, that feeling into it.
You got to feel it. So I would imagine it's been covered a fair few times, Braggy.
Well, I know that.
Who do you know that's covered
it? I know that Tony Joe White covered it. Now, who else would have made a cover?
Yeah.
All right, mate. All those Stones, maybe. I don't know. Maybe the Stones. Maybe Aerosmith. Those kind of bluesy, those rock and roll bands. You talk about the lyrics. Yeah. Most of the lyrics from those blues songs is just about, being with a woman.
Yeah,
they're all kind of just euphemisms for that. I mean, rock and roll itself is a euphemism for doing the wild thing. That's actually that's what they used to call rock and roll. Rock and roll with your woman. So,
all right. So the Animals covered it.
Oh yeah, the Animals. Yep. So they're one of the British invasions bands.
Yeah. So Big Head Todd, the Yardbirds.
The Yardbirds, yes, the Yardbirds is the band that had, Clapton played for them, Beck played for them, Jimmy Page played for them. They had the three great guitarists at one point or another. So
the legacy. So the legacy of this song. It was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame list of songs that shaped rock and roll.
Yeah, absolutely. It's part of rock and roll. It's still blues, so I'm not sure it's exactly like for me, and I think Rossi and I talk about this sometimes. For me, where rock and roll, the real birth of rock and roll for me is people like Little Richard.
Yeah.
Because it's got that flamboyance as well. And rock and roll is about that, So they often say that the blues and country music kind of merged to make rock and roll because they were both playing that 12-bar sort of thing. Hank Williams was kind of almost rock and roll, some of his songs. So but yeah, the blues is definitely, without that, there's no rock and roll at all without that sort of stuff. And it's 12-bar, which is your progression. AC/DC, most of their songs, That's funny. I saw this interview, it's an old interview with Malcolm Young when he was alive, and he was talking about rock and roll bands. And he said, there's not many rock and roll bands. There's lots of rock bands, but not many people roll as well. Maybe us and the Stones, he reckons.
Truly.
Yeah, that's what he says. I think he's just talking about, the old school, the feel of that old rock and roll, or it gets you really moving. Rock can make you move like this, but it's called rock and roll for a reason because
good way to think about it.
So, yeah, it gets the hips going.
So John Lee Hooker also saying one bourbon, one scotch, and one beer. And I think that's a song that's more well known from George Thorogood, isn't it?
Yeah, he made that his own, but that's another
Yeah.
one. What else did John Lee Hooker do? There's something to be another one there too, wouldn't there?
There's Boogie Chillin',
Oh yeah.
I'm in the Mood, and Crawling King Snake. Yeah, I've got to laugh. I was doing obviously some research. I could support you because I knew you get a bit nervous. But he was born August 22 in 1917 or 1912, depending on the source.
Well, he's right down there in the bloody, Mississippi and the swamps in the cotton fields. No one knew what was going on. It just came out of there, eh?
Yeah, absolutely. It's just, so obviously some blues, pretty much a signature style. It featured in the Blues Brothers. So,
Yeah.
So he wasn't just a bluesman, Braggy. He was the sound of the back roads, the juke joints, and the soul of American music. So that's a nice little legacy.
Can you imagine what that would have been like in one of those black, bars down in the south there? Like almost kind of like you see in that video clip, where everybody's kind of out bursting out onto the street.
Yeah,
and everyone, it's hot and sweaty.
Yeah,
they're playing that music and everybody's moving, and oh man, imagine, and eating the Cajun food.
Yeah, it's
wow. I would love to go. I would love to be around and see the birth of that sort of stuff.
Yeah, it'd be cool, eh? It would be really, really cool. So,
yeah. Have you been down that? You haven't been down that far south when you have been to the States?
No. We went to. Florida's a little bit different, so from the area that we're talking about. So Miami, we went out to Key West, and Key West has got a very unique feel and vibe about it.
Yeah,
very
I'm
much.
talking like Georgia and Louisiana.
Yeah, no, never, not as yet. So
yeah, I'd love to get. I love to. That's want to be. If I get to the States, that'll be one of the places I want to go.
No, you got to stop saying if and just say when I get to the States.
Well, when I get there, yeah. When I get there.
You and Big Stu can go on your Nashville and Southern Louisiana tours.
Yeah, we've got to get down and get that Cajun.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All righty. So that was it. So that was the deep dive today. It was mainly about the riff, I think, that little blues track.
And that's in so many other songs as well. I'm trying to think of some other ones that it's in, but I'm a man. They're just different vibes of it, like Muddy Waters, Dum, 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 dum.
So when you think about like the African American music of today and what they call rhythm and blues or
R&B today is different than R&B then.
It is, isn't it? And but is it founded on this style of music from
John Lee? It all is, I guess, if you go back far enough, isn't it?
Yeah.
But it's not even like hip hop music. Most people don't get it, and I understand why, because they say it's not singing, but it's not supposed to be. It's all part of the rhythm. If you listen to those guys rap, their voice is a percussion instrument, really.
Yeah.
Not I mean, they are spitting out those words, but it's in a rhythmic sort of way. So, and all that stuff, all that blue stuff comes from those poor bastards, being slaves and working in the cotton fields for fucking 10 hours a day, backbreaking work, and just singing those hymns. They would have been kind of hymns, or even if you go back further, I don't know, I guess when they came from Africa, they would have been chants and stuff, and it would have been drums and rhythm. So that's why. That's where it comes from.
Absolutely. Braggy, just a quick one tonight. So I hope everyone that tuned in for our shortened version without Rossi, it's
I hope Rossi's proud of me.
Yeah, it took a little bit away. Hooker, the Mississippian-born bluesman. So
the Delta.
He had been recording since the late 40s. So
there you go.
So there you go. I think you're almost spot on with that as well. So yeah. So I'm not quite sure what our next show is. I know I've got a couple of interview requests that I've got to get back to. So we'll see what pans out. But tomorrow night, of course, is State
Come
of
on,
Origin.
Queensland. Come on.
Do you have a score tip for the audience?
I'm not confident. but I don't watch much rugby league, although I have watched a lot this year. So I just, come on, boys.
Yeah,
I don't know. What do you think? What do you think of we've changed up Dale Cherry Evans?
I think DCE, unfortunately, great servant of the state, but probably
it's
the
not
right
like us
move
to do that, though. It's not like us to drop someone, is it?
Oh, I think when their time is, they either have that question and get the response. But I don't. I think before game one, I think Daly had a conversation somewhere along the line that said, "Daly, this could be your last game." If so.
And what do you think?
I think,
How's Munster going to go? How's the chook with his head cut off going to go as captain?
I think it's probably the most nervous I've been thinking about this particular game. I truly hope Queensland win.
Me too.
I really want a decider, and I really want to. The one thing that the Blues happen with the Blues is they do get really cocky really quickly. So after game one, everyone's talking about this Blues dynasty and that the Blues have got the best players. And I'm not going to deny they've got the best players, but that doesn't mean
they've had the best players before.
Yeah, it doesn't mean you're going to win the next 10 series in a row, boys. So,
right.
Which is what the Blues are already sort of talking. So, I'm hoping that we can win it, just to sort of say, hey, otherwise, we'll hear it all. Origin's dead. The Blues have got it. So, who knows?
It'll be right.
Origin,
anyway, if we do lose a few series in a row, that's not going to kill Origin.
No,
it'll just make us more hungry.
Make us more of the underdogs, won't it? So,
yeah, that's right.
All right, Braggy, I'm going to let you go. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. How did Braggy go? Leave us some comments, and whatever happens will happen for State of Origin. Whatever we just talked about, you'll already be judging whether we're right or whether we're wrong by the time this episode comes out. Until then, we will see you all again next week. See yous.
Bye.
Right down, right off your feet, take you home with me. Take you in my house, take you in my room. Up and down the floor, and when you talk to me, then baby talk. I like it like that. Talk that talk, walk that walk, walk that walk, talk that baby talk. right down, right off your feet, take you home.